What's the weirdest thing you've researched for a fanfiction? I somehow gleaned that there are nearly 2 million calories in a kiloliter of liquefied human bodies. You mean that's not common knowledge? A manual of how to be a contracted killer. I found a book on the Wayback Machine that went into detail, and it was pretty helpful, actually. No, FBI, I swear, I'm not trying to become a hitman, I just write fanfiction. The explosive yields and blast radii of various American nuclear weapons. No, FBI, just because I wanted to invade California last month doesn't mean I'm doing anything this time. Duck reproduction cycles. Do you mean reproduction cycles? How long it takes to strangle someone until they die. Does Mithridatism, ingesting small, non-lethal amounts of poison so that you build up an immunity, actually work? Traversable wormholes and gravitational time dilation. No, I didn't fully understand them, especially the former, but I learned 1. That a lot of things are still speculative, and 2. That even Interstellar got some things wrong. So I decided that exercising some artistic, ignorant license would be okay in a fanfic. And then I remembered I was writing a reincarnation fic. I can spend hours on Google Maps, checking the streets, how the areas they're living in and spending time in look like. What stores are there? How do the parks look like? Are there many cars on the roads? What kind of trees are there? Can I see any hills or mountains? Any water? What kinds of buildings are there? Where's the closest bus station or train station? How long does it take to go from one place to another? Which bridge is closest to cross, and so on. I also sometimes check restaurants, and if the restaurants have a website so I can check their menus and prices, sometimes I end up knowing the city or town so well, it's like I've actually been there. What happens when you mix Xanax and alcohol? The invention of syringes. Stigmata with fun pictures. Angel hierarchy. Apparently anything I research is only related to either medicine or religion. How much pressure it takes to snap a deer antler? The answer? A lot. I write fanfiction for shows I've never actually watched, so I spend a lot of time on wiki pages and watching YouTube reviews. A recipe for Vulcan plomeek soup. That turned into a winding road to learning gang signs. Oh, the places our minds go. That would be my beta reader and I having lengthy discussions to figure out how the members of an all-female race of space aliens would react to performing in a nude scene in a summer blockbuster action movie. I'm talking biblical scholar-type debates revolving around the video game's canonical lore. We tried to work out how the aliens would feel about this by citing various bits of dialogue and codex entries to the game. We treated this with the utmost seriousness, because we cared about these characters, damn it. Everything about harvesting cork. Wait, people harvest cork? I thought that stuff was like plastic. Can the cork master please elaborate? Cork is tree bark. How many apples Anakin Skywalker ate in his lifetime? Turns out he has never eaten an apple. Worst year of my life. Lost out on a funny punchline. All that for one punchline. All these intelligent people are looking up specific facts, measurements, etc. And I'm looking up what is the colored part of an eyeball called. Sometimes I doubt everything I know. I've researched the exact construction and materials of an ESP Eclipse guitar, and then researched the effects bullets of different calibers and types would have on wood of that type and thickness. The median walking speed and space between steps for the average 18th century human. Sounds mundane, and it is, but it was followed by an hour or so of stupid math to figure out if it was plausible for some giant humanoid creatures to walk a couple dozen miles a day. All of this was promptly used for a passing line. What happens when you step in a bear trap, and how long does it take to heal? Wow, what's the answer? Pain and crushed bones. Depending on the bear trap. I don't know, it's been a bit. The science behind love. It's actually really cool and weird, as it's not as straightforward as a lot of people think. The theories are quite interesting, and it gets weird when you have an open mind and you're like, wait, that makes sense. How to care for someone that got their tongue cut out. Did not find anything specific on it, and honestly, got too squeamish to dive deeper. A fair bit about biology, surgery, pharmacy science. Like, if I'm going to make up a fictional drug name but make it sound legit, I kind of have to. I read a lot into organ transplants and anti-rejection drugs, all so I could write 2 paragraphs that probably didn't even matter that much in the long run. Bat salivary glands. It's not that weird, but marriage fraud. Mostly normal things, like where to hit someone on the head for amnesia to set in. Court records of small claims appeals in El Paso, Texas, circa 2014. The theoretical limit of cuisine one can make using only ingredients derived from humans. The rate of a speed a car would need to be going to break a bone but not seriously injure someone. I have cyberstalked the website of a country club in Utah. Can you pet a koi fish? I did a lot of research on hospitals and medical practices in the 1800s for a Bridgerton fic. I'll just throw it away, put on the not historically accurate tag, and do what I want for the sake of drama. I researched who has the ownership of a corpse after the person died. The effects of drugs on spiders. Can a person survive being beheaded? And if so, how would they eat? I was trying to logic out what having your soul literally taken from your body by magical cards would be like. I found myself looking into coma information in order to accurately represent what being soulless would feel like, and how the body might still react in that time period. Needed to know what it sounded like to snap somebody's neck. Also, if you can live without lips. What kind of car my character could realistically drive in 1998. Ultimately, it didn't even make it into the story. Possibly wheelchair Krav Maga. I probably have researched weird stuff, but this is the most recent thing I can think of that isn't so weird, but like I researched something so obscure that probably no one cares about, but I care. I'm writing an AU set during the 2006 Warped Tour, and so I needed to find out what day they were in the area, where in the state they are in, what bands were playing, and even to the point where I found out what times and stage these bands were playing at. It's so stupid that I know no one will care, but I want it to be accurate in case. I taught myself how to gaslight people. Off the top of my head, probably what happens to bones when burned. How to hide a knife for an assassin character. I realized very quickly I was searching in a public place, and this was perhaps not a good idea. History of eye prosthetics. I know it isn't crazy, but it's how much a power armor suit from Fallout 4 would weigh, and whether or not it could go up a standard elevator. The price of horseshoe crab blood. I still get push notifications about horseshoe crab articles from Google because of that. How to set broken noses outside of hospitals, caveman style. It was surprisingly hard info to find. The history of socks and how to make hay. I've searched up an awful lot about medieval contraceptive methods and Gothic architecture recently. I also became obsessed with digging up the floor plans of this obscure mansion in Europe. Sadly, I've never been able to find the plans. I've then found out that folding collapsible shotguns exist. They're very cool. I do so much research about drugs, how much is a lethal dose, length of effects, best places to acquire actual effects and feelings produced from various different ones, that I get ads for treatment and rehab centers. How to get a dog into a doggy wheelchair. Elevator surfing. Garbage trucks and their use in attempts to escape from prisons. I feel like fanfiction research has me on a watch list. Can you cut the stomach without cutting the bowels? How would you die if your stomach was leaking into your body? Can you shoot through a natural gas canister? Can natural gas canisters explode? How long until you die of hypothermia? What does blood smell like? Does submerging a corpse affect rigor mortis? What does rigor mortis look like? Can you date a death by rigor mortis? Stomach contents and dating death. What does urine smell like? What is a nerve agent? Will a pistol blow out the back of a skull? So many questions about drugs.